A West Indies cricketer vanished from international cricket at his peak. Shamarh Brooks was supposed to be the next big thing in West Indies cricket. If you followed Caribbean cricket in the late 2010s, you know exactly who I'm talking about. A batsman with serious talent, consistent performances in domestic cricket, and eventually that golden moment when he got the call-up to represent the West Indies at the international level. He made his Test debut in 2019 against India, and people were excited. Finally, a solid middle-order batsman who could anchor innings, who had the technique and temperament to succeed at the highest level. His first Test century came against England at Old Trafford in 2020, and suddenly everyone was talking about Shamarh Brooks as a key part of West Indies cricket's future. But then something strange started happening. His appearances became less frequent. The consistency everyone expected didn't quite materialize at the international level. By 2022 and 2023, he was in and out of the team, and then gradually he just faded from the spotlight. Fans started asking questions. What happened to Shamarh Brooks? Why isn't he playing more? Did he get injured? Did he have a falling out with selectors? The official answers were vague. Form issues, competition for places. The usual cricket speak that doesn't really tell you anything, but here's what nobody was talking about publicly. While Shamarh's international cricket career was having its ups and downs, he was quietly building something completely different behind the scenes. And this is where the story gets really interesting, because what Shamarh Brooks was doing while everyone focused on his cricket statistics was setting up a financial foundation that most professional athletes never think about until it's too late. Let's start with what we know for certain. Shamarh Brooks comes from Jamaica, specifically from the parish of St. Catherine, and he didn't grow up wealthy. Cricket was his ticket, his way out, his opportunity to build a different life. He worked his way up through youth cricket, through Jamaica's domestic system, putting in the hours that most people never see. Early morning training sessions, playing on rough grounds, dealing with limited equipment and resources. This is Caribbean cricket reality for most players. It's not glamorous. It's hard work with no guarantees. When he finally made it to first-class cricket, playing for Jamaica in regional competitions, he was earning decent money by Jamaican standards, but nothing close to what international cricketers make. Maybe a few thousand US per season plus match fees. Enough to live on, enough to support family, but not enough to get rich. But even then, people who knew Shamarh say he was different. While other young cricketers were spending their match fees on chains and cars and impressing people, Shamarh was saving. He was asking questions about investments, about property, about how to make money work for him instead of just spending it. His international cricket career, short as it was in the grand scheme, changed his financial situation significantly. Test cricket for West Indies pays around $5,000 to $7,000 per match. One-day internationals and T20s pay less, maybe $2,000 to $3,000 per game. Over the course of his international career, appearing in around 15 test matches and a handful of limited overs games, he probably earned somewhere between $75,000 to $100,000 from international cricket alone. Add in his Cricket West Indies central contract when he had one, which could be worth another $20,000 to $30,000 per year, and you're looking at real money, especially for someone who grew up without it. But the bigger money in modern cricket doesn't come from international cricket anymore. It comes from leagues, and this is where Shamarh Brooks made the decision that changed everything. He started focusing heavily on T20 franchise cricket, the Caribbean Premier League, where he played for Jamaica Talawas and Barbados Royals. Other leagues around the world that pay good money for solid, reliable players even if they're not superstars. A player like Shamarh, with international experience and consistent domestic performances, can earn anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 for a single T20 tournament lasting just a few weeks. Play in 3 or 4 tournaments a year, and suddenly you're making more than most international cricketers earn. Here's what people don't understand about modern cricket economics. Playing for your country is an honor, yes, but it's not always the most financially smart decision. International cricket means being available for your cricket board year-round, which limits your ability to play in franchise leagues. It means dealing with selectors, dealing with politics, dealing with the stress of national expectations. Shamarh Brooks looked at this equation and made a calculated choice. Focus on leagues, focus on T20 cricket where his skills translated well, build financial security, and step back from the pressure and inconsistency of international cricket. Smart people who know Shamarh say he started investing his cricket earnings almost immediately. Real estate in Jamaica, where property values have been rising steadily, especially in areas near Kingston and in tourist areas. Commercial properties that generate rental income. He wasn't buying flashy mansions to show off on Instagram. He was buying properties that made financial sense, that would appreciate in value, that would generate income long after his cricket career ended. By 2023, rumors in Jamaican cricket circles suggested he owned at least 3 or 4 properties, worth collectively somewhere in the range of $500,000 to $1 million US. But property wasn't his only move. Shamarh got involved in business ventures in Jamaica, partnering with people he trusted in sectors he understood. There's talk of involvement in a sports equipment business, providing cricket gear to young players and schools. Makes perfect sense for someone with his cricket connections and understanding of what young players need. There's also mention of investments in the hospitality sector, which in Jamaica means anything connected to tourism, restaurants, guest houses, entertainment venues. Jamaica's tourism industry is massive, and people with money to invest can do very well if they make smart choices. Now let's talk about his lifestyle, because this is where things get interesting and very different from what you might expect. Shamarh Brooks is not living like a typical young athlete with money. He's not posting pictures of expensive cars and jewelry on social media. In fact, his social media presence is relatively quiet, relatively normal. He shares cricket content, motivational messages, family moments, nothing screaming, "Look how rich I am." And people who know him say this is intentional. He watched too many cricketers blow their money trying to look successful instead of actually being successful. He does own a nice home in Jamaica. That much is clear from occasional photos. Nothing crazy, not a mansion, but a comfortable modern house in a good area. Probably worth somewhere between $200,000 to $300,000, which in Jamaica puts you in the upper middle class lifestyle range. The house has what you'd expect. Good security, nice finishes, space for family, maybe a small gym because he still trains regularly. But again, it's not about showing off. It's about comfort and smart investment. His car situation tells you a lot about his mindset. He drives a decent vehicle, probably something Japanese. Reliable, maybe a nice SUV that makes sense for Jamaican roads. You won't catch him in a Lamborghini or a Bentley. That's not his style. And more importantly, that's not smart money management. Cars depreciate. They're expenses, not investments. Shamarh seems to understand this better than most young athletes. Where he does spend money is on his family. People close to him say he's made sure his parents are taken care of, that siblings have opportunities, that younger family members have access to education and resources he didn't have growing up. This is Caribbean culture, especially for someone who makes it out of difficult circumstances. You take care of your people. But he's doing it smartly. Not just handing out cash, but creating opportunities, funding education, helping people start businesses. He's also invested heavily in his own cricket academy and training programs for young players in Jamaica. This serves multiple purposes. It gives back to the community, it keeps him connected to the sport, it generates some income, and it builds his brand as someone who cares about developing the next generation. Smart athletes understand that your reputation and connections are assets that outlive your playing career. Now let's talk numbers, because you want to know what Shamarh Brooks is actually worth. Based on everything we can piece together from cricket earnings, league contracts, property investments, and business ventures, a reasonable estimate puts his net worth somewhere between $1 to $2 million US. That might not sound like massive wealth compared to international superstars, but understand the context. He's in his early 30s, his cricket career isn't even over yet, and he's built this while most cricketers his age are living paycheck to paycheck. By the time he fully retires from cricket, if he continues making smart decisions, he could easily be worth $3 to $5 million. But here's the real secret to Shamarh Brooks' success that nobody talks about. It's not just that he made money, it's that he changed his mindset about what success looks like. Most cricketers measure success by caps, by centuries, by how many times they played for their country. Shamarh realized that cricket is temporary, but wealth can be permanent if you build it right. He chose financial security over cricket glory, and while purists might criticize that choice, it's hard to argue with the results. There's another layer to this story that's worth understanding. The West Indies cricket system is broken in many ways. Players often don't get paid on time. Contracts are unreliable. There's political interference in selection. Shamarh experienced all of this firsthand. After dealing with the uncertainty and frustration of trying to build a consistent international career in that environment, he made the rational choice to focus on opportunities where he had more control, more certainty, more ability to build something lasting. You can't blame him for that. His lifestyle now is comfortable but not extravagant. He travels, but usually for cricket or business, not just luxury vacations. He eats well, probably has personal training and nutrition support to maintain his cricket fitness. He can afford nice things when he wants them, but he's not wasteful. People who've dealt with him in business say he's sharp, asks good questions, thinks long-term, doesn't make impulsive decisions. These are the habits that separate people who build lasting wealth from people who blow through money. What's interesting is how quiet he's kept all of this. In an era where athletes and celebrities broadcast every purchase and every success, Shamarh Brooks has stayed largely under the radar. No flashy lifestyle content, no bragging about money, no public displays of wealth. This is either very smart personal branding or genuine humility, and people who know him say it's probably both. He understands that showing off makes you a target and that real wealth is private. There's a lesson in Shamarh Brooks' story that goes way beyond cricket. It's about making hard choices between short-term glory and long-term security. It's about understanding that your earning window as an athlete is tiny, maybe 10 to 15 years if you're lucky, and what you do with that time determines the rest of your life. It's about not letting ego drive your decisions. It's about building something that lasts beyond the game. Most fans still think of Shamarh Brooks as a cricketer who didn't quite fulfill his potential at the international level. And maybe that's true from a pure cricket perspective. But from a life perspective, from a wealth-building perspective, from a smart decision-making perspective, Shamarh Brooks might be one of the most successful cricketers of his generation. He just did it so quietly that nobody noticed. So what really happened to Shamarh Brooks? He didn't disappear. He didn't fail. He didn't give up. He made a choice that most people wouldn't have the discipline to make. He chose financial freedom over cricket fame. He chose building a fortune over chasing selectors. He chose long-term wealth over short-term glory. And now, while other cricketers his age are worrying about whether they'll get picked for the next series, Shamarh Brooks is building businesses, managing properties, and securing his family's future for generations. The real secret isn't that Shamarh Brooks got rich. The real secret is that he figured out the game behind the game while he was still young enough to do something about it. And that's the smartest move any athlete can make. Tell me in the comments if you think he made the right choice. And hit subscribe because next time we're exposing another athlete's hidden empire nobody saw coming.